In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up and install SparkFX, and I'm going to walk you through all the features that are included in the SparkFX Edit Bundle. Looking forward to hearing from you. Let's take a look at what all is included in the SparkFX Edit Bundle. SparkFX Studio gives you the tools you need to edit faster and more efficiently in DaVinci Resolve. The Spark Edit Bundle includes more than 8 tools with lots of features and options. To download SparkFX, go to sparkfxstudio.com. You can click the download link, or you can click the product icon to get more information and a breakdown of all the different features and options. You can start SparkFX just like a regular application on your computer, or if you're inside Resolve, you can click the Workspace menu, Scripts, SparkFX, and choose Open. Okay, let's take a quick look at the SparkFX window and how to access some of the different features and options. The main app is divided into 4 sections. We have Edit, Create, Effects, and Tools. And each of those sections has different icons to access all of the different features. Under Edit, we have some timeline tools, text tools, smart content, as well as some audio tools. In Create, we have the Spark elements that allow you to create icons and images. We have the new layouts feature, as text overlays, and as well as some fusion experiments where there's going to be a lot more coming soon. Click Effects to see the different Spark effects that we currently have. We're going to be adding a lot more. To install an effect, all you need to do is click the icon and choose Install, and that's going to download and install the effect into Resolve. In the Tools section, we have some automation tools, info reference, some tools for working with media, as well as some system tools. Across the top, we have quick links to contact us, to open up the SparkFX Discord, access the search, and then this icon here allows you to adjust the window. Click the icon, choose Default or Overlay Window. When Overlay Window is selected, when you click away from SparkFX, you'll get this small little pop-up that you can put down here, which provides you quick access if you want to get back to it. So if you want to pull up SparkFX, you just click the window. The third option is on top. You can use this if you want to be working in SparkFX and Resolve at the same time. And this is going to put the SparkFX window always on top, allowing you to access different features and functions in both really easily. Click the gear icon to take a look at some of the settings and options. This area over here lets you set the hotkeys to activate the SparkFX search and access the quick actions. There's a few other settings, and also there is a theme, so you can choose the default gradient or you can choose the dark theme to have the colors a little bit closer to what you see inside Resolve. First thing I want to show you is the Spellcheck feature. We have a timeline right here. This has a lot of text on it, some fusion compositions, and we're going to bring up SparkFX and Spellcheck it, try to find if there's any spelling mistakes. From the main edit screen, let's click Spellcheck. SparkFX is going to scan the timeline and give us a list of potentially misspelled words. Let's take a look at what it found. There's a total of 209 words on the timeline and found 17 that could potentially be misspelled. Now you notice looking at this, one of the words here that it identified is SparkFX. Now this is a word that I want it to look like this. It's not really a misspelling. What you can do is click this icon here and choose Add to Valid Word List. And that's going to take SparkFX and add it to the valid word list, so it's not going to be counted as a misspelling for this timeline. And you'll see it remove that, and it took us down to 9 misspelled words. All right, let's fix our first word. And you'll see right here we have quick. I'm going to take the window and make it a little bit smaller so that we can see the window along with Resolve at the same time. What we can do is click this little icon here, and that's going to take us directly to that word in the timeline. And you'll see that right there we have quick. You notice that the SparkFX window went away. So what I'm going to do is click the window icon and say on top. That way the SparkFX window is going to stay on top so that we can access it. Okay, so what we're going to do is just click the text plus component, and you can see right here in the inspector, we're going to add a C, and then we're just going to refresh it. And it's going to rescan the timeline, and that misspelling is gone. Okay, next I want to take a look at this option right here that makes things a little bit easier. You can enable this green option. This option is going to have SparkFX follow the playhead each time you click on a word. So now that that's enabled, we can click on here, and SparkFX is going to jump directly to that spot in the timeline. And you could do the same thing and fix it. Just a really quick way to get to each of the words. But the other thing is you can actually fix these spelling errors inside of SparkFX. So right here we have this think with an E on it, and you'll see it is not correct. So all we need to do is we're going to just type in this box, get rid of that, and we're going to click Update. And it rescanned the timeline and fixed our spelling for us. So let's use the Spellcheck suggestions. So we're going to click on this and choose Free, Check. All right, now that we've adjusted all our words, all we need to do is hit Update, and it's going to go through the timeline and fix all our spelling for us. And you see we have 209 words, and zero were identified as misspellings. Now, one thing is that if you need to adjust the valid word list, you can click this drop down here and hit Settings, and you can go in here, add words or remove words. There's basically 1 word per line when you're setting up the valid word list. The other option here is that you can see that this is the language. Right now we're looking at US English. If we switched it to French, you're going to see it's going to find a whole lot of misspelled words because none of these words are in French. So there's a lot that's wrong with it. Now, another thing to note here is that there's a little timeline bar up here, so you can kind of see where this word is in the timeline. And again, same thing works. You could just click on it and it's going to take you directly to that spot in the timeline. Do you struggle with getting your clips aligned and spaced properly in DaVinci Resolve? It can be kind of a challenge whether you have some text or images. I'm going to show you how you can use SparkFX to make the alignment and spacing of your clips a lot easier. Okay, we're going to open up SparkFX and hit Clip Align. We're going to do what we did before. We're going to take this window and just kind of make it a little bit smaller and move it right to the side. That's going to enable us to access the SparkFX features as well as DaVinci Resolve at the same time. So we have text that's kind of been randomly placed on the screen there, and we want to align it. So the way the alignment works is you put the playhead over the clips that you want to align. It's going to align everything to the clip that's in the top track. Right here, you can see the top clip is this DaVinci Resolve. You'll see I changed the position. So it's going to use the layout position to align all of the other clips in relation to DaVinci Resolve, which is the top clip. So let's start with the horizontal alignment. So we're going to click to align to the right. And that took all the clips and aligned it to with DaVinci Resolve to the right. Some of these clips are on top of each other and the spacing is not really even. We're going to fix that in just a second. We can align things to the center or to the right. And it's using this is the anchor point right here for the DaVinci Resolve. So if we wanted it to move over, we'd slide DaVinci Resolve over and put it up a little bit and align to the left. And it's going to take all of the clips underneath and copy that alignment. And it's also adjusting the horizontal anchor so that all of them have the same anchor so that they'll align and space properly. So let's align them in the center. So we're going to just put everything in the center of the page. So I'm going to take the layout and we're just going to double click on this to reset it. And I'm going to move it up. So I want my DaVinci Resolve to start there. We're going to align everything to the center. And now we want everything to be spaced evenly. You'll see some of these clips are actually on top of each other. Like that. We're going to use these spread and spacing options as well as the distribute. So we're going to talk about spread first. These will work horizontally as well as vertically. The spread is going to take the distance between the top two clips and apply that to all the clips below. So we're going to take the second track below the top and we're going to move that up. Move it up right there. See, it was actually even way down below. SparkFX is going to look at the distance between these two clips and apply it to everything below. And we'll hit the spread down. And there we go. So if we wanted things spaced out a little bit more, we could take the second track and move it a little bit and hit the spread down, and it's going to copy that spacing and apply it to everything. Now, the next option here is this spacing, and this is going to allow you to get really precise. And you can just set a distance, and it's going to set it for you. So we can take these and let's move them around a bit. Same way as before. It's kind of, they're randomly spaced on there. They're not looking good. And actually, we could even use this reset to reset the position and take the top clip and move it up right here. And we're going to take this spacing distance and we'll try 4. And the bigger the number, the more it's spaced out. Now there's some different options in here. This slider is the sensitivity. So if you bring it way down, these spaces are going to be a lot closer together. If you need things spaced out more, you can bring it up a bit and that's going to push the spacing out. Kind of gives you a lot of different options. And once you know the number, you can kind of keep using that to get the exact spacing that you want over and over again. And we can align it to the right, left, works the same way. The options below that are the distribute options. So what that does is it takes the distance between the top clip and the bottom clip and evenly spaces everything. So if we have the bottom clip right there and we hit distribute, if we distribute, it's going to create an even spacing between those two. So if we wanted, we could take DaVinci Resolve. Actually, let's center it in the middle, take DaVinci Resolve and bring that up to the top and the fusion animations and bring that right down in there and click the distribute. And we have even spacing. And these other ones over here that actually distribute in center. So like, for example, we could take the fusion animations and move it up. And when we distribute, it's actually going to take all that and center it on the screen. Now, the other options we have down here is there's track where you can select which tracks are going to be affected by the alignment. And then there's also color. So let's say that, let's say you have a lot of things under the playhead, but you only want to align certain things. So let's say we wanted to only align the orange clips. So we're going to click the all, and that's because that was set to all colors, and we're going to set it to orange. Now, when we do the alignment, you'll see that only the orange clips are going to be affected. So we could actually align these separately, even though they're all on top of each other. So we're going to put SparkFX Studio there and align it that way. We got to move it over and align it again. The color feature and tracks allow you to target specific things that you're looking to align. Okay, let's take a look at these images here. For the images, the left, right, center alignment doesn't really matter because they're all going to align to the same part. Okay, so here we did the alignment and you notice it didn't do anything. That's because it's only looking at the orange clip. So make sure that you reset this and you can do white, which is going to be all colors. And now we're going to align the images. The left, center, right doesn't matter because it's all aligned to the center of where all the images are. Except I'm going to do it horizontally. So we're going to reset the position. I'm going to take the top clip and in the inspector, I'm going to just slide it over and we'll take the clip on the bottom. We'll slide that over maybe right in there. And all we're going to do is just do the distribute horizontally. Now there's also this size option. So if you wanted to come in, this is a real quick way. So if you want to make your icons a little bit bigger, click size and it's going to copy the size to all of them. And the spacing works the same way. We're going to do horizontal spacing. And that's a little bit too big, but this is one that you can kind of play with it and get it exactly like you want. SparkFX Timeline and Search is the absolute fastest way to navigate and get around your timeline and go to exactly the point that you want to start editing. So you can see down here, we have this timeline with a lot of stuff on it. So if I'm looking for a specific section, I'm going to have to kind of go around, kind of filter through these markers. There are some things in Resolve, but I've made something that I think is a lot easier for you to get around. If I want to quickly navigate to some place in my timeline, I just hit the SparkFX hotkey and choose where I want to go. So let's go to Spellcheck and it's going to take me right there. If I want to go someplace else, I hit the hotkey and we'll go to Timeline Tools. Now you don't even need to use the mouse for this. I can hit the hotkey right there. And if we want to go to the Quick UI overview, all we need to do is hit Alt-B. And it's going to take me to that section. So within just a few keystrokes, you can go exactly where you want to on the timeline. Let me show you what's going on here. So I'm going to hit the hotkey. What we have here is a timeline index. So this is looking at chapter markers that we've set up. And these are the same chapter markers. You can use them for a timeline index, or you could even use them for YouTube chapters in your video. So it's really dual purpose and it lets you do a lot. Let's click on Quick UI Overview and it takes us right there in our timeline. So what's going on here? We have this marker and we'll double click on it and you can see it says Chapter Quick UI Overview. This is fully customizable, but this is how you can set up an index that allows you to jump to any spot in your timeline really quick. So let's bring up SparkFX. You see we have some markers here and there's a setup index. So this is allowing us to set up what our chapters look like. So we can come in and go to chapters. It's going to scan the timeline and it found all of the chapter markers. So this is customizable. So you could say, I want my chapter markers to be only the green markers. And you'll see that there's no chapters like that. And you see we don't have any green markers. Flip it back to all colors. And then there's this text here. So this allows you to specify text in the beginning of the marker that identifies as a chapter. You don't need to do this. So you can just take this and take it off. And in this case, it's going to find every marker and it's going to use that as a chapter. So let's say if we wanted this one right here where it says chapter, what is SparkFX? We can call this index, what is SparkFX? And we're going to make it red. This is just showing you what some of the options are. So now when we go back to SparkFX, we're going to say we want only red markers and we want it to say index. And we refresh and you'll see that it found all the markers with the text in the beginning called index. And it's going to use that as the index for our search screen, as well as the YouTube chapter markers. But I'm going to put it back to chapter and we're going to set it to all. And there we go. That's how we quickly set up a dual purpose search index that also works for YouTube chapters and makes it really easy to navigate our timeline. The search index is great, but what if you wanted to try to find some text or a location of a subtitle somewhere in your timeline that you don't really have a marker or something set up for? And that's where SparkFX keyword search comes in. Let's hit the search hotkey and let's search for timeline. And you can see everywhere where we have the word timeline on this timeline, and you can use the arrow keys. And if you want to go to one of these, you'll see that it found the markers as well as some text. As you arrow through each of these, you'll see where they are on the timeline. And if you want to go there, you just hit enter. And it took us timeline text. So if we wanted to go someplace else, hit the hotkey and we're going to search for animations. And let's try create animation. There we go. And you can see there's one at the beginning of the timeline and one at the end. And let's go to the one at the end. We'll just hit enter. And it took us to the create animation point. This is going to work for subtitles, text plus, as well as fusion compositions. You know some of the text where you want to go, you can type it in with a few keystrokes and go there instantly. In addition to searching for text on the text plus, fusion titles, and subtitles, you can also look for text from the clip name or comments. So let's hit the hotkey and we're going to search for Resolve. And you can see it found a couple of Resolve images that I have. If you want to go to it, hit enter, and it takes you right to where that image is. So in addition to be able to search for the clip name, you can also look through comments to try to go to those spots directly on your timeline. All right, on top of this search, you'll see that there's F1, F2, F3. These allow you to real quickly toggle between different areas. So let's talk about this F2 media. This is a media insert option. It allows you to set up media and assign a hotkey to it so you can insert it into your timeline really quickly. You don't have to go look for it or find it. So you can see I've set up some in-screen, intro screen, some different sound effects, the Resolve logo. So all you need to do is if you want to insert it, let's go over here and let's say we're right here. We select our track and we'll bring up SparkFX. We're going to hit F2. If I wanted to insert the Resolve logo, I just hit R. And that inserted the logo right there. We can set up quick insert hotkeys for images, but we can also do it for sounds. So let's hit the SparkFX search. We'll hit F2 and we're going to hit Z, which is right down here. And that's going to insert the zoom sound for us on the currently selected track. So that easy, just a couple keystrokes. So to set this up, you go to, you open up SparkFX, you hit this F2, and then you hit Setup Media. You can see here's a list of what I have currently defined. You can hit Add Media, you give it a hotkey, you give it a name, and you select the path to the media, and you're ready to go. Okay, let's take a look at this next section, this Resolve Action. So you can hit F3, and you can hit this at any time, anywhere within SparkFX. So if you're on the main screen, you just hit F3 and you're already at these Resolve Actions. There's also a keyboard shortcut to bring up this screen. So if we minimize SparkFX, we can hit the Quick Actions hotkey, and it's going to bring up to the Actions screen, and we could say Activate Resolve, and it's going to bring up Resolve for us. So you might use this if, say if you want to get to Resolve really quick and you don't want to use the keyboard, you just hit the hotkey sequence and R. And that's going to activate Resolve instantly for you. So it's a real quick way without having to mouse around and find icons that you can activate Resolve. The other options on there is we can take a screenshot. So this will take the screenshot of the current frame, and it'll either copy the image or copy a path to that screenshot. We can open up the SparkFX Media Browser, and we can also click this option to open up the last rendered video. And this is kind of a placeholder section. I'm going to be adding a lot more into this with real quick one-key actions to do lots of interesting things in Resolve. All right, we have this fun one right here called Random Sequence. It lets you take some clips on the timeline, and it kind of mixes and matches them to create some different variations for you. If you're looking for a little inspiration, you might want to use this tool. So let's click Random Sequence, and we're going to put this to be always on top. Make it a little bit smaller there. So we're going to take a bunch of clips and just add them into the timeline. I'm going to take those and drag them into the timeline. This source track is the track where your main clips are, and destination track is the clips where you want to create the new sequence. So let's put these on track 3. So we want to create 60 seconds worth of a sequence. It's like the segment time is the minimum time for each clip. So this is 0.5. So each clip minimally is going to be half a second. And the number that you're going to put together, and this is for randomization purposes, is, let's say, we're going to say 1 to 9. So basically it's going to take a half-second segment. It's either going to put one of those together or 9 of those together, and it's going to mix and match. Let's hit Generate Sequence. And there we go. So we have 60 seconds of a sequence. So this is a tool that you can use, just kind of mix and match and try out some different sequences and see if you can find something that you like. Okay, let's talk about the Media Bin tool. This is something I'm working on, and it's going to be used for a few things down the line that are not quite ready yet, but it still might be something that you want to use. So you see we have this Media Bin with lots of clips. The Media Bin tool is going to allow you to quickly rename these and set comments on them without having to do a lot of clicking. You just totally use the keyboard. So we're going to go to the Tools area and search for Media Bin Update. And you'll see it found 27 clips, and we have a name. So if you wanted to rename this clip, you just start typing and hit enter, hit enter. And if you want to put a comment in, you just click tab and you hit enter to go to the next. So we can just real quickly type. So I'm doing all this with just typing, tabbing, and entering. Once you have everything set up, you just hit update media. So that's going to go through the media bin and update all of the clip names and clip comments. The last thing we're going to take a look at is the Resolve startup feature. Because SparkFX is such a great app, you're going to want to make sure you're running it every time you run Resolve. So we can use the Resolve startup to do this. Click this little launch icon, and you'll see it's enabled. You can enable it and disable it. So this is going to start up these applications with Resolve. So I have it set to start SparkFX and Superbins. So when Resolve comes up, those apps are ready for me to use, and I can start editing right away. With startup apps, you can add additional applications that are going to automatically start up with Resolve. So you're ready to start editing with all your windows and apps ready to go. Click Add Startup Application. So you can choose to open up an application, a file, or you can even type in a web address there. And when you start Resolve, all of that's going to be opened up and ready to go for you. To connect SparkFX with Resolve Studio, click the DaVinci Resolve menu, choose Preferences, and on the side, click General and set External Script Using to Local, and save your changes. Once that's set, SparkFX will be able to communicate with Resolve. The standard SparkFX app has some basic features, but you get a whole lot more when you upgrade to the Spark Edit Bundle add-on. To learn more about SparkFX and all the SparkFX products, go to SparkFXstudio.com or click the link in this video's description. Any questions, comments, or feedback, click the contact button inside of SparkFX or check out the SparkFX Discord.